Right then, this is a quick walk around video, and this is for a Honda Civic 1.8 SR Tourer. Car's covered 69,000 miles, finished in passion red, which looks absolutely stunning in the flesh, and also on these optional Honda alloys, which look really lovely on the car. The car's in really good condition for a car that's now coming up to 11 years old. Going around the car for you, front of the car, pardon me, nice and clean. Lights and lenses clear and intact, there's no cracks or condensation in there. Bonnet very clean indeed, there's hardly a stone chip of any brake note on there at all. Near side of the car, very smooth in the panel work, can't see any obvious indentations. Tiny little touch in on the leading edge of the bumper there, but it blends in rather nicely. Alloys look in superb condition on the car, I have to say. Come down this side, generally very clean indeed. And now on the rear quarter angle, which I've always maintained is the best angle for these cars. It's a lovely looking estate car, it really is. Then around the back, again, all generally very nice. A couple of, again, minor little touch-ins done over the years, but nothing much. Offside of the car, beautifully smooth in the panels again, really clean there. It's been kept very nicely, notwithstanding it is 11 years old and it has the odd minor little nickel mark, but in all honesty, one of the cleanest you're going to see. Let's come into the boot area. Really big boot on these cars, beautifully finished as well, as Honda always do. This one's also fitted with a space saver spare wheel rather than the inflation kit, which is a nice cost option on the car. Let's come into the back now. Loads of room with the magic seats in the back here as well. Leatherwork for what is essentially a family car is in absolutely stunning condition, really. Coming on the front passenger side, again, all very clean and tidy. Passenger seat, not been given an awful lot of use over the years. Finally, on the driver's side, door card again, lovely and clean. Footwell is likewise. The driver's seat again, very nice condition, just a slight bit where as you slide in and out, but miles better than you ordinarily see. Inside the car now, as always, the engine's running, so the dashboard can be seen illuminated. Stunning interior on these Civics. Sat nav, as you can see, working exactly as it should. And likewise, rear parking camera, which complements the front and rear parking sensors. Coming on down, again, it's just been kept in beautiful condition. And then that's the view you get as a driver. As I always say in the adverts, I still maintain, personal opinion, but it's the best dashboard anywhere in its class. Absolutely stunning. Engine's running, no warning lights on. I'll just go over there for you, if you can see. 69,525 miles recorded. But it is a lovely car. So finally, just to show you, owner's manual pack and locking wheel nut key, all here and present with the car. Right then, this is a quick road test video, and this is for a Honda Civic 1.8 SR Tourer. Car is registered MT63WOR, and mileage at the start of the road test is 69,519 miles. The reason for all of our videos, and especially this road test section, is to ensure that if anyone's online looking at any of our cars, they get to see the very car advertised actually in operation. We've always felt it important, mostly because we've been to see cars which have looked perfectly good in photographs or description, but only to find out after driving a car sometimes that there's an obvious fault that shows up, which can be very frustrating indeed. So coming to the car, a very well maintained car, and it's fairly obvious as soon as you drive it. Feels nice and tight on the road. Twist the key, engine starts instantly, settles to smooth, even idle. There are no warning lights on the dashboard at all relating to the engine or any other part of the car for that matter. And temperature gauge running at a third, which is exactly where it's meant to be on a Honda car. For fear of repeating myself about the millionth time, Honda build the best 4-cylinder engines in the world. There's no two ways about it. The reason for that is they do everything just wonderfully well. with just good regular maintenance. They're incredibly tough and reliable over huge mileages. They're cam chain driven, so there's no cam belts to worry about on them. But it's just such a lovely engine to use day in, day out. It's smooth, it's tractable, it's got plenty of oomph to it as well. It really does pull along nicely. But what I love about the engine is it's always got this kind of mechanical sophistication to it, which is it's got a sweet edge. But when you do put your foot down, here I am now, get in the distance that kind of muted induction noise, which is just so sweet edged. It's a lovely unit, it really is. Engine then feeds through into the clutch and gearbox. Clutch on the car, bike points exactly where it's meant to be. It's nice and smooth in operation. Gearbox, just another brilliant Honda gearbox. 6-speed manual, of course. The gear changes themselves have got a kind of a lovely mechanical feel to them as you feel the gears engage. It's got a lovely synchromesh. It feels substantial, it feels enjoyable to use, it's short and throw, which is all the more remarkable. You get all that because, like most modern cars, it's actually cables that go from the gear lever here to the gearbox underneath, and unfortunately that quite often translates into horrible, vague, lifeless gear changes, but this is the opposite of that. It's absolutely brilliant, and it's still absolutely as tight as a drum in terms of kind of the linkage, the feel of the gear lever, and the gearboxes themselves have a reputation for being every bit as reliable as the engines, in the sense that they just go on for a long, long time. Then coming on to the steering and chassis of the car, steering's really nicely done on the Civics. They've got two sides to the character of the car. First of all, foremost, it's a very comfortable car, so if you just want the car for family use, you're not bothered about dynamics particularly, it does that wonderfully well. It's damping ride over 90% of the surfaces is wonderfully well controlled. Only the sharpest ridges will catch it out as they would any car. But the steering has got this lovely kind of weighting to it. It feels positive, very accurate, quick. It also tracks dead straight. There's no vibrations at this speed or any speed up the legal limit. But all works together wonderfully. So when you go through corners like this one, turn in, hardly have to turn the wheel at all, hardly any body roll. It's just unflustered as it goes through the corners. So for those that still enjoy their driving, it's a lovely car to drive. It rewards those that sort of still get pleasure, derive pleasure from driving a car. It's one of the few that can give that in the class. Just going to give the brakes on the car a bit of a shove. Really good brake pedal on the car, powerful, positive. No pulsing or vibrations going back through the brake pedal. Steering tracks absolutely bullet straight. There's no vibrations at this speed actually, or any speed up to the legal limit. And then finally coming inside the car's literally just arrived, so it's not been cleaned yet. It is clean in here. It's not going to need an awful lot to bring it up to our standards. But it's just such a fantastic interior. The first thing you notice about them, of course, is just how well built they are. They're superbly put together cars. No squeaks, no rattles. And then you've got this architecture of the best dash, and it's classed by a country mile as far as I'm concerned, which I genuinely and readily admit is a personal opinion more than anything else. But what is unarguable is the fact that it works ergonomically brilliantly. The most conventional part of the centre stack here, so you've got your sat nav all working perfectly, dual zone climate control system, so you can have different temperatures side to side if you so wish. That pumps out absolutely ice cold air, by the way. Then below that you've got the heated seat buttons, and you've also got on this one, I should have mentioned it with the chassis, the rear suspension has 3 different settings for the rear shock absorbers. So you get comfort, normal and dynamic. It's fairly easy to work out what they all mean. And currently I'm in comfort. If I press that, I've gone into dynamic, and you can feel it distinctly stiffen up and become harder in the back. Normal, kind of a halfway house between the two. And for arthritic old so-and-sos like me, the comfort mode is very, very nice indeed. Then come back to the dashboard, you've got this wonderful two-tier design, upper and lower deck. The upper deck's the information you look at most regularly, and the speed is the one you look at 90% of the time, or it should be. And there it is, all by itself, white on black, digital display. You can't miss it. So you can actually look at the car ahead, but see the speed you're doing at the corner of your eye without taking your eye off the road for a second. It's absolute genius. And then down below that, you got a more conventional pod of rev counter in the middle, flanked by the temperature and fuel gauges. It's a superb car. This is one of the best estate cars you can buy. Such a high quality machine. The point of the video is literally just to show the car in operation, but as I said, to feedback on anything obvious, and there's nothing at all. It drives absolutely beautifully.